What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 14 of my John Ferrick book review, Wrecking Crew Demolishing the Case against Steven Avery. If you're a fan of the Making a Murderer series and are interested in the case against Brendan Dassey and Steven Avery, I highly recommend picking this book up. You can get it on Amazon. That's where I got my copy of the book. It is filled with a ton of great information, and he talks about more than just making a murderer in the book as well. Highly recommend it. Definitely pick it up if you're into the Making a Murderer case. And what we're doing is we're going over the facts of the case that were available at the time the book was written. A lot of new information has come out, of course, since the book was written, but we're going by what was available at the time the book was written. Alright, so the last video was mostly about Ken Kratz, and this one we're picking up right where we left off. He states that Ken Kratz violated the attorney's oath by advancing facts that were prejudicial to the reputation of a party without any legitimate reason by law or justice to do so. He again talks about how Ken Kratz got a conviction against Steven Avery and went on to convict Brendan Dassey based on totally different sets of allegations and theories as to how Teresa Halbach was murdered. He states that something this crazy and ridiculous only happens in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. At Steven Avery's trial, Ken Kratz argued that no blood was found in the trailer because he states there shouldn't be any blood found in the trailer because Teresa Halbach wasn't killed in the trailer. She was killed by the hands of Steven Avery in Steven Avery's garage by a gunshot wound to the head, and that Teresa Halbach was killed by one person and one person only, that person being Steven Avery. John Ferrick talks about how in the spring of 2018, Steven Avery's post-conviction lawyer Kathleen Zellner made a discovery that there was evidence withheld from Steven Avery's original trial attorneys back in 2006. He states it was a crucial piece of evidence that Ken Kratz and Thomas Fassbender did not want Steven Avery's side to gain access to, talking about the personal computer and a dozen computer disks that were seized from the home of Brendan Dassey's mother, Barb, on May 11th, 2006. After investigating the computer, the evidence was returned to Thomas Fassbender, who then decided to sit on the information so that Avery's defense lawyers at the time didn't have it in timely fashion. 7 months later, some of the information was shared with the attorneys, but the most noteworthy details and evidence from the computer investigation was never shared with Avery's trial attorneys, Jerry Buting or Dean Strang. Stated that Thomas Fassbender's report refers to the examination of Brendan Dassey's computer, where there is absolutely no proof that the computer belonged to Brendan Dassey, and there is proof that it was primarily used by Brendan Dassey's brother, Bobby Dassey. The report minimizes the number of violent images, the severity of the violent images, and the incriminating word searches that demonstrate an obsession with inflicting pain on young females' dead bodies and manipulating female bodies. Thomas Fassbender's report also ignores the timeline of the images being viewed, which excludes other family members and incriminates Bobby Dassey once again. Talks about how Kathleen Zellner inquired about the missing CD with the information from the computer starting on November 14th, 2017, then on December 4th, 2017, and finally March 20th, 2018, so 3 times. And then it finally arrived on April 17th, 2018. Attorney Tom Fallon finally produced the CD, which contained 2,449 pages. On May 25th, 2018, Kathleen Zellner filed a motion to supplement the record on appeal with the CD produced by Tom Fallon. Gary Hunt, who is Kathleen Zellner's expert, determined that Bobby Dassey's computer was manipulated by someone out to destroy and conceal data on the computer. Mr. Hunt, after his examination of the 7 DVDs and the CD, made the following conclusion. Mr. Hunt detected 8 periods in 2005 which are relevant to the murder of Teresa Halbach when computer records are missing and presumably deleted from the Dassey computer. As for the CD that was previously withheld from Jerry Buting and Dean Strang prior to the trial, it did not require special software. According to Gary Hunt, they needed special software for that first bit of information, but this CD did not require special software. The CD turned out 2,632 internet keyword searches for the following terms body, journal, gun, MySpace, fire, gas, stab, cement, bullet, DNA, tires, blood, and some other disgusting things. The CD contained 14,099 images recovered from the computer. The CD also contained 1,625 photos categorized as recovered pornography, which means that all these images had been deleted and then recovered. And then a recovered search of the MSN messages revealed that communications between Bobby and various individuals who identify themselves as teenage girls in the ages of 14 and 15. Bobby identified himself as being a 19-year-old. The messages have some very explicit content. That's absolutely disgusting. John Ferrick states that Steven Avery's murder trial may have turned out drastically different had Ken Kratz and Thomas Fassbender turned over all of this to the defense, all of the information related to Bobby Dassey's computer. Bobby Dassey's trial testimony about being asleep from 6:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. would have been impeached by the contents on the 7 DVDs and the CD, which would have shown that he was awake on the computer 8 times in that time frame, searching up very disgusting things, violent images of young females being tortured, sexually assaulted, and manipulated on the Dassey computer at the times when only Bobby was at home. In additionally, his MSN sexually explicit conversations with young women, as well as the word searches for the murder that indicate an interest in skeletons, dismemberment, knives through skin, fire, handcuffs, guns, bullets, and blood, could have been utilized by trial defense counsel to impeach Bobby's credibility with the jury by his knowledge and preoccupation with the unique details of the crime. It states that demonstrating a probability that Bobby Dassey used the computer to gain access to the internet on October 31st, 2005 during the time he claimed to be asleep and while Brendan was at school. There is a lot of very disturbing information in that part of the book. It was very hard to read. Just absolutely gross things that were discovered by the defense and its detectives and its investigators, and oh man, just gross. Absolutely gross. Well, that's where I'm going to end part 14 of this series. Let me know what you think of the information in the case in this part of the book. And like I said, if you're interested in making a murderer, definitely pick up Wrecking Crew: Demolishing the Case against Steven Avery. Got my copy on Amazon. It is a great read. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you again soon.